If you crashed your Pavo Pico and broke your frame, all you have to do is remove 8 screws and 1 cable to replace it. Now, to avoid accidentally ripping any cables, as a first step, I would recommend removing this PMU cable from the air unit or the flight board. Now that you won't accidentally rip any cables when removing the air unit from the Pavo Pico, the first step is going to be removing these 4 screws from the bottom of the Pavo Pico. You'll want to keep a hand on the air unit because once you remove those 4 screws, the air unit should come right off the frame. Pro tip, when disassembling the drone, I'd recommend keeping everything oriented in the same direction. That way you don't accidentally put something on sideways when reassembling. The next step is going to be loosening these 4 screws, just enough to separate the flight controller and props from the frame. You might need to pull back the antenna on the bottom of the frame. Then the board and props should separate from the frame. Again, keep everything oriented in the same way, that way you don't put something on sideways when reassembling the drone. If you accidentally rotate your frame 90 degrees, the battery slot on the frame is not going to align with the power cable on the flight board. Now the flight controller and props are going to go back onto your new frame. Just keep in mind the antenna connected to your flight controller needs to slide through the bottom of the frame. Once you've got that lined up, just tighten these 4 screws back into your new frame. You can go ahead and connect the PMU cable back into the air unit and slide that down in between the frame and the flight controller. Just to make sure you have everything aligned, the 4 screws on the bottom of the Pavo Pico that you removed in the beginning are going to go back into these 4 slots on the air unit. Then you'll just put these 4 screws back into the bottom of the Pavo Pico and screw them into the air unit. I like to push the screws through and line them up with the holes on the air unit and then tighten them. Reconnect the PMU cable back into the flight controller. And you're good to go. No reconfiguring needed. All we're doing is replacing the plastic frame. If you found this helpful, feel free to like or subscribe.